Witness sworn.
State and spell your name for the record, please.
Kevin Murphy, Kevinmurphy.
Thank you. What does everyone call you?
What's everybody call me?
Murphy?
Murph.
Murph is good. All right, Murph, why are you here?
I have a subpoena.
Give us a little bit of background. I know you did this on Tuesday, but we're back on the record, so just a brief background. What do you do now?
I'm a police officer. The name of the town is Beverly Shores, Indiana.
How long have you been doing that?
2 years.
And then, before that?
I did the shop teaching for a while after I retired from State Poly CE in the Valpo Community Schools, a short stint at Valpo University, and then I did court security, like the officers do here, in Porter County, which is in Valparaiso.
And then, before that, that was the state police?
State police from June of '95 to July of 2021.
All right. And did you leave on good terms?
Yes.
Meaning you retired?
In good standing, yes.
In good standing, okay. I want to direct your attention to your involvement. Were you involved in the Delphi investigation, murder investigation?
Yes, I was.
And can you give the judge an idea of the time frame in which you were involved?
The first day would have been right after Martin Luther King, Jr. Day, which would have been February 21st of 17.
Okay.
And all the way through October 1st of 2019.
And I can't remember you. I think I asked you Tuesday, but were you on this Delphi death investigation the entire time and that's what you did the minute you got up, or was it days that you didn't work on that?
There were some days when we had details at the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force. The main office was in Indy, but we worked out of a sub-office in Merrillville.
What kind of, when you first got involved, just give the judge an idea of what, were you in a room and there's a bunch of people? Did you meet one-on-one with somebody? How did that all go down?
Early on in the investigation, we were in the old Delphi town hall upstairs, sometimes hundreds of officers. We get down here 8:30, and usually have a briefing and go over what had transpired the day before, and then the tips and leads we were all going out on, and often divided in two-people teams.
And how much information were you being given in the mornings at these briefings, and who was giving the information?
The information generally came from Unified Command. Oftentimes it was Lieutenant Holman, it might be Sheriff Liggett, it might be Detective Kevin Hammond, just depending on the day.
And then, I'm presuming that wasn't the only time that you received information at these briefings in the morning. Were there other conversations, private or not private in the sense that it's whispering, but just as a matter of course in the investigation, talking from one person to another? Were there those kinds of conversations as well?
Yes.
Outside of briefings? Give me an example of how that might come to be.
I remember early on I went out a lot with my classmate, who's a lieutenant at Bremen, Lieutenant Chad Larsh, and we seemed to go out on a lot of the tips.
What was your understanding of the time frame of when the girls were killed? What was your understanding, and what was that understanding based on?
So approximately after the last evidence of them being on the bridge, which was, I think was 2:13, it might have been 2:15, so from that general window of 2:15 to about 3:30 that afternoon, so about an hour and 15-minute time frame.
And when and where did you get that as the chunk of time that it took for those girls to be abducted and murdered?
It was generalized from that end of the bridge to where they were found the following day on the 14th, that a fair window of how long it would have taken for everything to transpire would have been an hour and 15 minutes.
And was there ever, to your knowledge, any consideration that the time of death was sometime outside of those two frames, 2:15 and 3:30?
I had never actually heard any time of death in the time I was here.
Again, when was the first time that you were on the case that?
Starting February 21st ST, which is a week to the day after the girls were found.
Okay. What was your understanding, if you have one, of the based upon readings or based upon information you were receiving from anyone as to how many people were involved in the murders?
Based on the crime scene, the specifics of it, the intricacies of it, it could.
And the entirety of your tenure working on the Delphi murder case from February of 2017 to, when was it?
October of 21, or, I'm sorry, October of 19.
2019?
Yes.
Was it always the same, 2 or 3 people or 4, what did you say? 5 to
5 to 6. Yes, generally, it was.
Okay. Was there a time when you got involved in a part of the investigation that took you to Rushville, Indiana?
Yes, there was.
Tell the judge about how that happened and what happened with that investigation.
Prior to Christmas of 2017, actually the week of Christmas if I'm right, we received a tip that stated a subject from Rushville, Indiana, had admitted to a family member that he was involved in this crime.
Okay. And who was that person that was, had I guess, confessed to the crime or admitted participating in the crime?
Yes. His first name is Elvis, last name is Fields.
Okay. And I know you said that came in from a tip? Do you know who the tipster was?
The tip was difficult to understand, but I think it ultimately came when.
Okay.
And she was associated with family members through Rushville of a sibling of Elvis Fields.
All right. So once you heard that there had been some type of statement made by Elvis Fields' involvement in the murder, what then did you do?
Detective Roland Purdy and I went down there. I believe the date would have been January 7th. It was a Monday after the holiday of 2018.
Okay. And what did you do when you went? You said you went down to Rushville?
We met here in Delphi at the command center, the old NIPSCO building, and we went to Rushville, Indiana, where we had pre-arranged to talk to the sister of Elvis Fields.
Okay. And after you talked to the sister of Elvis Fields, what then did you do?
We got a hold of Unified Command. We thought this was a very sustainable tip, something that needed to continue to be investigated, and we continued to investigate it from that point on.
What made you think that it was worthy of being investigated?
The information provided to us by the sister was very specific about the crime scene and what had occurred, and it just seemed like information that no one else would have known.
Okay. And then what happened next?
A day later, we met up with one of our sergeants in the drug enforcement.
Okay. And what happened then?
We did the controlled phone call. She was very anxious about it. We tried to keep her calmed down during the call, and Elvis didn't really give any indications of any involvement, and then the call went south when she just blurted out, "Elvis, why did you kill those 2 girls?"
Okay. That caused the call to go south.
Immediately, yes.
Okay. What happened after that?
Through the process, I had met with Prosecutor Nicholas McClelland about the lead we had. He said something to the effect of, "If it's got legs, run with it. Keep me in touch. Go get them."
Okay.
And Roland Purdy and I eventually made arrangements to take Mary Jacobs for a polygraph. I don't remember the exact date, but it was within a couple of weeks after that, at the Indianapolis lab, and we were there for that entire polygraph. The 2 of us, we watched the polygraph.
What was the purpose of the polygraph?
Just the request of our investigations division to see would there be any indications of deception, or was she truthful, was she believable.
And did the results of the polygraph cause you to continue on or to stop?
Judge, I guess I don't really have a valid objection.
No.
And so I'm gonna object to the question, Judge.
I agree with him.
All right. Sustained.
After, I don't know how else to say it, 'cause I don't know, it's a polygraph. After the polygraph, what happened?
We still continued our investigation.
Okay. And in what form?
We found, after that event, the possibility of more people being connected to the crime between the town of Rushville PD, or the town of Rushville and Delphi.
Are you still working with Roland Purdy at that time, or are you working with other people?
At some point, Roland Purdy was assigned or reassigned to his FBI task force. It's out of Fort Wayne, I believe, but I started working primarily with Greg Ferenczi, who provided the initial tip on Elvis Fields.
Okay.
And due to the nature of Rushville being where it is, we developed a liaison through their PD who, at the time, was the assistant chief, Todd Click.
And so there's kind of three guys. Let's go through kind of what each guy doing. What was Ferenczi's primary role, if he had one?
Mainly, he did the social media aspects of the case, larger part what was going on in Delphi, and the Rushville end of it was handled by Todd Click, but it just came upon me that my entire focus was on Elvis Fields.
Okay. So what was the next thing then that happened with Elvis Fields?
We talked to him a couple times. I remember Lieutenant Holman and I even did some sort of interview that was recorded and we documented with Elvis Fields, and I believe he even consented to a swab for DNA.
And what happened after that swab was taken with Elvis? Did he stick around and answer questions or?
When we finished up with him at the PD, he didn't have a ride home, I remember it. I felt bad for the guy, so I got him back to his trailer in Rushville. I don't know that I could get you there today, but I remember getting him back to his trailer in Rushville.
And what happened, if anything, when you dropped him off?
I dropped him off and he kind of walked towards his trailer, and then he turned around. I'm like, where's this going? And he walks back and I roll down my window and I go, what is it, Elvis or whatever I said? I got a question for you. I said, yeah. He goes, that swab I did, if that happens to show that my spit is on one of the girls, but I can explain that away, am I in trouble? Do I have a problem? And I'm like, my response was with the generality of, if you can explain away why something like that happened, I said, you're good. And then I was just stunned and started making calls.
Who did you call?
My first call was to Jay Harper.
And was he a part of Unified Command at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And then what? Who did you call, if anybody, afterwards?
I might have called Steve Mullen, I'm not really sure, that's going way back, but I'm positive my first call was to Jay Harper.
What, did you, as an investigator, consider that question that Elvis asked you to be important in terms of the investigation?
I made a mistake that day.
You made a mistake?
I made a mistake.
What was the mistake?
I should have thought about what I just heard, even though I followed command, followed the chain, and I should have just said, Elvis, let's go get some food, let's go back to the PD, and let's talk. And I should have opened that up further and I didn't, because it just didn't seem like, without the, not support, but the resources of another officer, that it's something I should have done, and I thought we could at least revisit it immediately in the next couple days.
Okay. So you have some. This sounds like you have some regrets about how that was handled on your end?
I do. I'm human and, we make mistakes every day, and I feel that was a mistake.
Okay. Well, what after? I mean, that does seem like kind of big deal, what he said or what he asked. What happened then?
I documented that entire day, did my typical Word document, put in the supplement, might have emphasized or highlighted what he said in exact words.
Sorry, I don't mean to turn my back to you, but I'm sorry, this is gonna have to be one of those things, Judge. I can't locate the inaudible report from a couple days ago. I don't know. Do you know what I'm referring to, Judge, as?
I do not. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's fine.
His report?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
You do know what I'm talking about? Okay.
It was Defendant's S.
Thank you. Defendant's S. You were here the other day, I handed that to you. And just remind the court of how that thing got put together, how your report got put together.
When I went out, I'm sorry.
Now do you want me, for purposes of?
Oh, you've got another one? Okay.
I found it. I'll go ahead and thank you. I'm gonna hand you Exhibit ZZ, And just take a look at that and tell me what that is. Have you had a chance to review that?
Yes.
What is it?
This is a printout of a lengthy Word document that I completed on all the aspects or ties between Rushville and Delphi.
How many? Like what type of time frame are we talking about to put something like that together? Is it days? Weeks? Months? Years?
This took a couple weeks to put together. It might not seem like that, but just to get all of it factually organized and the correct order.
Well, I'm talking about in terms of how much time does that document span? That's probably not a great question. Like the first time, the first entry is January. When would your last entry be?
Well, this started with January 2018, the first time we met Mary Fields, and this included several months of.
It was several months?
Documentation, yes.
Was there? Can you just tell the court? Part of what this hearing is about is trying to establish whether there's links between different people and the murderers in this case and Rushville, people from Rushville. Can you talk about what lengths, if in New York, did you, Ferenczi, Click, and anybody else find that you thought linked Elvis Fields and others, perhaps, to the Delphi murders?
Elvis Fields and his roommate, Rod Abrams, as well as a subject down in Rushville, Johnny Messer, who's somewhat of a Vinlander wannabe recruiter, and then up this way in Delphi with Patrick Westphal and Brad Holder became like our five that were the pieces that put all the puzzle together.
What do you mean by that?
Just the link between the two communities and what had transpired throughout our investigation with what we thought might have happened.
Okay. Let's start with this. How were they linked? What links did you find between Brad Holder, Patrick Westphal up in Delphi?
Ned Smith as well, who's?
Down in Rushville?
Rushville.
Yeah.
Greg Ferenczi and I worked together and he did Facebook gatherings of investigations. I know he did slides, he put everything together, and we were able to put together that all these people seem to know each other and know each other through their circle.
Okay. But why would that necessarily mean that they're involved in the murders just because they all know each other?
Part of what we considered is that they seem to know things that no one else would know unless they were involved or there.
Okay. Does that include Brad Holder?
Yes.
And what do you know? And I believe, Greg Ferenczi, that was more of his thing was the Brad Holder end of it.
Yes.
But did he share with you what his investigation involved?
Yes, he did.
Okay. What was it about the investigation that caused you to think that Brad Holder knew things about the murders that he should not have known?
Postings on Facebook that Greg and I talked about and he showed me that mimicked what was the crime scene.
Well, I've entered some into evidence. If I handed you some documents, would you be able to tell me if it's something that you had seen through Greg Ferenczi?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to hand you what's been marked for today's hearing as Defendant's Exhibit KK. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Okay. What was the significance of that?
This looks, to me, to be a symbol, often referred to as a rune, that runes are on the hand of Brad Holder.
Okay. And what does that? Why is that indicative of the potential that he was involved in the crime?
This marking on his hand, to a person with common sense, closely resembles the way one of the victims was marked at the crime scene.
Handing you JJ. Can you tell the court what that is?
There's sticks on AW.
Okay. It's tough to look at for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's tough.
Why?
It sucks.
How long did you work on this case?
2.5 years. I don't want to look at that anymore.
I'm sorry. That's an example of one of the things that you think links Brad Holder to the crime. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then you had Elvis down in Rushville saying, "What if my spit is found on the girls?" And then he is, what links did Brad Holder have to Elvis?
Elvis he's a follower, he's a wannabe, he would mimic almost every day. Greg Ferenczi told me, the kinds of things that Brad Holder would post on Facebook.
Did you ever see the Facebook photos that mimic each other?
Yes.
If I handed you those, would you be able to identify what you saw?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna mark these. I'm handing you what's been marked as AAA. There's no photos in this other than what I think are Facebook photos or images. Tell me when you're done reviewing that.
Sir, I'm good.
Are those images are they familiar to you now that you've looked at them?
Yes.
Tell the judge what they are.
These are Facebook Facebook postings from Holder and Elvis where Elvis mimics Holder.
Okay. Do you think that, describe to the judge, she can see it, but describe the first one that you see.
Judge, I'm gonna object. The exhibits speak for themselves at this point. They've been admitted, the court can look at them. He's identified that he's seen them.
That's fine.
I'd like to look at them so I can know which ones he's identifying. But other than that, I'm gonna object to going through each photo and have him describe them. The court can consider those.
Okay.
I'll move on.
Did you? You haven't moved to admit them yet.
I do move to admit. Defendant's Exhibit AAA offered.
All right.
Can I just take a look at them just so I know which one? I don't have an objection, I just want to see the ones. No objection.
All right. Without objection, I'll show AAA, defendants, is admitted. Defendant's Exhibit AAA admitted.
Judge, thank you, Judge. While I'm thinking about it, I would ask to take judicial notice of, for purposes of this hearing of Kevin Murphy's testimony from this past Tuesday, on day 1 of this 3-day hearing, July.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you think that those images, for example, the first one had brass knuckles, and brass knuckles with WE pawns around? Is there a New York way that could just be a coincidence?
No, it's not a coincidence.
How in the world would Elvis Fields ever even learn the name of Brad?
Through being in Rushville, he had an association with Johnny Messer, who had an association with those up here, and I'll just say it, they were proclaimed either Vinlanders or wannabe Vinlanders, which is a crazy faction of Odinism.
Okay. And did Elvis Fields know Johnny Messer?
Yes.
And did Johnny Messer know Brad Holder?
Yes.
Did you and Greg Ferenczi ever ask for search warrants for Elvis's home?
I recall we did.
Do you know if any search warrants were ever authorized?
I don't remember that, sir. In what we were doing, yes.
What do you mean by that?
In what we were investigating, yes.
Okay. What about at the morning briefings in 2017? Was Brad Holder a suspect then?
No.
Were you reporting your work to Unified Command on a regular basis?
Every day.
Okay. You talked about Rod Abrams and Ned Smith. Who are they, so the judge knows?
Ned Smith owns a paving company out of Rushville, Indiana, and Rod Abrams and Elvis Fields worked for him seasonally, time to time, when they did paving jobs in Rushville, and this came from investigations and observations by Todd Click.
Did Rod and Ned, in the course of the investigation, ever say where they were and where Elvis Fields was in February of 2017?
What was the date, sir?
I forgot what I even asked you, but when the girls were killed, did Rod Abrams and or Ned Smith ever provide an alibi or an explanation to where they were?
Visiting a sick friend at Ball Memorial Hospital in Muncie, called Lamont Stanley.
Okay. Was there anything funny about their alibi that you remember?
They said they couldn't use cell phones there because of the hospital and not having a signal. I remember that specifically.
Okay. But they did both say that they had cell phones, but if you pinged them, they wouldn't be able to.
Yes.
But is that, kind of relay for me how that conversation happened?
It was more with Rod Abrams, I remember, than with Elvis. I remember actually, at one point, well documented, interviewing Rod Abrams. I might have even been alone without another officer that day, and he told that story. And I remember we checked in on it, and the way I recall it is they weren't at that hospital that day. That alibi was not true.
Did they say that Elvis was with them, if you remember?
He was. They said he was.
They said he was. Well, what about Elvis's alibi? What alibi did he give for February 13th, 2017?
I'm not remembering it.
That's fine. Do you remember an email about a ceremony? Do you remember anything about a ceremony in Fort Wayne that Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall were involved with? If you don't, that's fine.
I do not, sir.
Okay. That's fair. In your opinion as an investigator, was there links between Elvis Fields and Brad Holder?
Yes.
And was there links between Brad Holder and the murder of AW and LG?
Were there links?
Were there evidence of links between Brad Holder and the murders of AW and LG?
I'm not understanding the word links.
Yeah, it's not a great question.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
No, that's fine. Were there any links that, in the course of your investigation or Greg Ferenczi's investigation that he shared with you, that linked Brad Holder to the murder scene? I guess we kind of went over it a little bit, those photos that you saw, the hand runes. Why was that important to you as an investigator?
The symbolism that Samibo DY posts, particularly on social media, that.
No other questions.
Mr. McClelland.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Murphy, good afternoon.
Sir.
I want to talk about this. When you first became involved in the case, it was in February of 2017. Is that right?
Yes.
And I just want to clarify, I wasn't the PR prosecutor then, and so I don't know if you may have spoke to me at some point, but I know you said you spoke to me, you may have, but I wasn't the prosecutor in 2017, agreed?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Make sure I clarify that.
Sir.
Yeah.
It would have been in 2019 I spoke with you.
Okay, thank you. I want to talk about, and I just want to jump right into it. I want to talk about this encounter you had with Elvis Fields when you dropped him off at the house that day and he made the comment about spit on the girls. My recollection is that you made some comment recently that you didn't believe what Elvis was saying and you thought he was playing with you.
Sir, I do.
Okay, and do you still believe that?
I don't know what to think. I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you.
Sure.
I just don't know what to think anymore.
But at that point, you had a conversation with me and you said, look, I think Elvis was just toying with me and it, frankly, pissed me off.
Correct.
Okay. While you also have had some doubts about Mary Jacobs' information. Is that a fair statement?
I can explain that, sir.
That's fine. Let me ask you some questions. When you went to interview Mary Jacobs in her home, you noticed that she had an overwhelming amount of medication to deal with mental health.
Yes, sir.
And that caused you to put her credibility in question. Is that fair?
As soon as I saw it, I gave up for a minute.
And you had some issues with Elvis as well. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And I think one of the statements you made to me is that you think Elvis and Mary Jacobs are full of crap.
Yes.
So we have these Facebook posts from Brad Holder that cause you to.
Yes, sir.
Through that investigation, were you ever able to place Brad Holder in Delphi at the time of the crimes?
No, sir, we were not.
Did you ever look at Brad Holder's work records through your investigation?
I did not.
Okay. Were you ever able to place Elvis Fields in Delphi at the time of the crime?
No, sir.
And in fact, you ran his phone and phone records show that his phone remained in the Rushville area during the time of the crimes?
That is correct.
Were you ever able to place Johnny Messer in Delphi at the time of the crimes?
No, sir.
What about Rod Abrams or Ned Smith?
We were not, as well.
And what about Patrick Westfall?
He lives here. He lived here at the time.
But were you able to place him at the scene of the crime when the girls were killed?
No.
Okay. During all these interviews that you had with Elvis and Rod and...
They did not.
Did you ever find any physical evidence tying them to the crime through your interactions with them?
No.
I believe Elvis was interviewed a total of 3 times. Is that right?
At least, sir.
And I believe one of the times was at least 3 hours long. Does that refresh your memory?
Yes, sir.
And during all those interviews, he denied consistently that he had anything to do with the girls. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Even denied knowing the girls?
Correct.
He said he didn't know the names, didn't know what they were talking about. He denied ever being in Delphi. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also had some concern about the distance between Delphi and Rushville. And is it fair to assess? You have to answer out loud. I'm sorry. Did you have some concerns about the distance between Delphi and Rushville?
Yes.
In terms of the ability of these people in Rushville, the ability of them to get up here and commit this crime?
Yes.
Were you ever able to confirm that Elvis Fields knew Brad Holder?
I was not.
Okay. The Facebook post that you talked about from Brad Holder and that you reviewed here in the court today, did you actually examine Brad Holder's Facebook page, or are those pictures that Greg Ferenczi showed you?
Greg Ferenczi showed me.
Okay. And you agree those pictures that you were shown today and entered into evidence, they don't show anything involved in the killing of a .w and LG. Would you agree?
I agree.
The pictures that were shown to you are pictures of jars and sticks and arrowheads and those kind of things. Correct?
Yes.
None of those pictures directly link Brad Holder or Elvis Fields to the killing of AW and LG.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Just a moment, Judge. I don't have any other questions, Judge. Thank you.
Mr. Baldwin.
No other questions.
All right. Thank you, officer. You may step down.
Oh, I'm sorry, I do. I'm sorry.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I forgot to ask you this. Was there something significant? I think it's mentioned in your report that Elvis talked about, blurted out something about a gang? Do you remember that?
Mary Jacobs talked about that at length the morning that Roland Purdy and I first met her.
Tell me about that.
That on the morning of February 14th, when he, in her words, got back from Delphi and handed her a coat that she said was blue in color with blood on it, that he said, "I'm now with a group and we're kind of in a gang," and I didn't know what meant at that point.
Did Elvis ever ask or talk about being part of a gang?
He did not to me.
Okay. Okay. No other questions.
Mr. McClelland.
Hold on. Hold on, Judge. Do you know whether Johnny Messer, Patrick Westfall, and Brad Holder would take photographs together or were ever seen in photographs together?
Yes, they were.
This is BBB, handing you BBB. Can you tell us who's in that photo?
Brad Holder, Johnny Messer, and Patrick Westfall. My apologies.
That's fine.
It's a bad picture.
Yeah, it's not a good photo. Move to admit defendants BBB.
No objection. No objection.
All right. Without objection, BBB is admitted. Defendants Exhibit BBB admitted.
Now I'm done, Judge.
All right. Any recross, Mr. McClelland?
Judge, thank you. The picture you just looked at, Officer Merp High, was Elvis Fields in that picture?
No.
What about Rod Abrams or Ned Smith?
They are not in that photograph.
Okay. Do you recall a deposition that you gave involved with this case?
Yes.
Do you recall Mr. Baldwin asking you, As you sit there right now, based on your investigation of the Odinism angle, what was going on at the crime scene, do you feel satisfied that it was fully investigated, meaning Elvis, Patrick Westfall, and Brad Holder? Do you remember that question?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember your answer?
Yes.
What was your answer?
Yes.
You feel that it's been fully investigated into those three individuals?
I don't know. I don't.
Well, your answer was yes at the deposition.
My yes was
Okay.
yes at the deposition.
I don't have any other questions, Judge.
All right. Thank you, officer. You may step down.